It is all over. Oh my gosh. If you've been drafting the rookie running backs, have you seen the unofficial depth charts? Oh, Trevion Henderson. He's behind Antonio Gibson. Why were we drafting Trevion Henderson, this freaking bum running back, instead of Antonio Gibson this offseason? Oh, it's embarrassing. It's brutal. We're going to go ahead. We're going to get into some drafts. I guess I got to identify myself on Underdog. Dear God, you got to be kidding me. This is not the time to be doing this. I'll submit my identity. I'm Mason Dodd, I promise. And we will talk about what we have with the depth chart news. We'll talk about people panicking with, what? Really? Ja'Cory Cross-Camara being the RB4? We really think that's a thing. We really think that Trevion Henderson is the RB3 in New England. We think everything we have seen this offseason has been a complete lie. What? Do not overthink this. The rookies are going to be okay. It's an unofficial depth chart. This live stream is going to be okay. I was very worried that I wasn't going to be able to get in if I needed to go through and verify my ID 1,000 times, but we're in. And we're at pick 7. So, don't worry about it. It's unofficial. I will bet anybody here any amount of money possible. Throw out a number. I'll call it in. I'll get a loan. Trevion Henderson will have more touches week 1 than Antonio Gibson does. Let's see if people panic in this draft. Let's see what happens. John says he has his home league tomorrow. How the hell have you not drafted already? Pat the Ripper says 1 gazillion. Okay, well, let me call the banker. Yeah, I got the lock of the century. Yeah. Yeah, I'm good for it. It's a gazillion. Yeah, with a G. Gazillion. Okay, cool. Is that cash or you're going to wire it? Okay. Yeah, he's going to wire tomorrow. So bet's on, my friend. The bet is on. And if anybody wants to get on the bet, I can bet you $1 gazillion as well that Jeremy McNichols is not going to see more touches than Ja'Cory Cross-Camara. Do not worry about it. But let's see. Dylan says the fan is here. Where is the fan? Sammy Stacks is my home league tomorrow too. Tradition is the day before kickoff. Sammy, did we not tell you? If you're in the flock league, you have to leave every other league you're a part of. So, you are cut out, my friend. You are cut out. Saquon Barkley goes at pick 6. We're going to take McCaffrey at pick 7. I know we've already showed this before. Obviously, these are underdog drafts. You already know that. And we only have a couple more days that we can get into underdog drafts. This is the puppy, $5 buy-in, $100,000 first place prize, $1 million prize pool, massive underdog basketball tournament. We've actually had a member of the flock win the puppy a couple years ago. I've never won this tournament. I've won other tournaments on underdog, and I profited $150K in a singular season. Don't ask me what's happened outside of that. But what you can actually also see on underdog that they have are pick'ems. And you want to see something funny is their higher lower pick'em for Christian McCaffrey week 1 on Underdog Fantasy has McCaffrey for more yards than any other running back in fantasy. McCaffrey's higher lower 110 total yards. You want to see what Saquon Barkley's at? In the game with the largest spread of the entire week? Actually, never mind. They moved Saquon Barkley up. Thank God. They have Saquon Barkley up at 112 higher lower. Yesterday, Christian McCaffrey was ahead of him. I guess a bunch of people went and took the McCaffrey lower and the Saquon Barkley higher. So I'm feeling good because I got to play Sal week 1 in the flock league. I got McCaffrey. I'm sorry, I have Barkley. He has McCaffrey. But regardless, CMC is out there projecting pretty close to be the running back 1 in fantasy this year. So If you can get McCaffrey outside the top 6 picks of your draft, it probably is just going to be an auto lock. Obviously, you have some injury concerns. But as of today, McCaffrey is fully healthy. Okay. Now, Drake London off the board at 15. HN goes 16. HN also looks fully healthy. Looks like he will be good to go for week 1. What are we going to have? Chase Brown goes 17. We'll take A.J. Brown. In these underdog best ball drafts, you have to start 3 wide receivers. And obviously, since it's best ball, the wide receiver is going to move up as well. So I do like getting at least 1 wide receiver through the first 2 rounds here. So we'll take A.J. Brown. I think he's super close to Drake London, to be honest with you. After you have the right tackle going down in Atlanta, projecting the offense to be much worse than it did previously. But of course, if y'all wanted to get into an underdog draft with us, you don't have that much longer. Underdog is not regular fantasy football. It's best ball. There's no time commitment at all during the season. That's how I draft hundreds of teams every offseason. So I won $150,000 a couple years ago. And here you're not submitting your starting lineup at the end of every single week. That's automatically done for you with your highest potential starters. So if you draft Quentin Johnson in the last round, he randomly has 2 receiving touchdowns. He'll slide into your lineup. No waiver wire moves. You're going to draft so damn deep. You're going to be taking guys like Quentin Johnston and no trades. So your roster's locked. I would recommend you getting into the puppy tournament if you were new to Underdog. It's a $5 buy-in, $100,000 first place prize. Again, more likely than not, you're going to lose. But if you do win, you can win in a big, big time way. It's $1 million prize pool, $5 buy-in. And with that being said as well, Underdog has the craziest run of promos that I have ever seen. The first thing is their new user offer. If you use code FLOCK, is you are going to get $50 added into your account after you play your first 5. That's right out the gate. The second thing with that is if you look at the actual pick'em promos that they have week 1, you will see that they are going harder now than we have ever seen them in the past. Saquon Barkley, higher, lower, half a total yard week 1. 50% profit boost on Thursday. 50% profit boost on Friday. 100% profit boost token dropping on Saturday for the games on Sunday. Additional promos Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So if you were ever going to get on Underdog, whether it's you want to get in a last-second best ball draft, whether it's you want to check out some pick'ems, whether you want to tell us on the Flock pick'em promo pack, now is by far and away the best time to do it. I'm not going to take Amari, and I'm actually going to take Lamar. Now's the best time to do so by far. And at the same time, if you got the season pass or you're an annual mother flocker to flockfantasy.com, go to the account page. Don't go to the account page. Go to the post page on flockfantasy.com. Fill out this Google form where it says $10 Underdog credit. Put in your flockfantasy.com email address and your Underdog username, and you're going to get an additional $10 added to your account. So, deposit $10, play 5, and fill that Google form out, and you'll have $70 in your account to take advantage of those promos and to roll with us with the Flock Boosted Pick and Packs all year. I know I'm being annoying with this, but again, week 1 is the best week to get in on it, and I would highly recommend it. Links in the description, links in the comment section, links in the live chat where it says draft with us here. Now, I will not do that 5-minute spiel again at any point this live stream. I just need to make sure that we are on the same page. That if you were considering hopping in an Underdog draft, you got 2 days left, and you got a couple days left to get in on the pick and promos as well. Yeah, the 101 team is wild. The 101 team in this draft has Bijan, Josh Allen, and James Cook. Absolutely wild. Okay. Marvin Harrison goes at 39. Jaden Daniels goes 40. Good for us to see Daniels go, right? Obviously, we are not taking... I'm going to reach... Actually, no, F it. We're going to take George Kittle. We're going to have a super unique build here. Now, only one wide receiver through the first 4 rounds in an underdog draft. You are 100% playing catch up at this point. I've won an underdog tournament in the past with McCaffrey and A.J. Brown being my first 2 picks. But typically what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to slam wide receivers in the middle rounds, only having one wide receiver through the first 4. So we're to take Kittle. But it looks like we had 100 likes on the stream. So go down and drop your flockfantasy.com username in the chat, and we will get you set up with some free questions for the live Q&A streams. And if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. We're going to be live streaming every single day until Christmas. The live streams we're going to be doing during the season, I'll just be answering your questions. But let's go ahead and let's get Mr. Padilla set up with some free questions. If y'all don't know, Mr. Padilla was at the first ever Flock Fantasy meetup back in 2020 or 2021. It was at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021. I don't remember technically what it was. But I appreciate you sticking with me for so long, my guy. And we just sent you over some free questions on the site for you to get some questions sent our way. Chuba Hubbard goes 52. Kenneth Walker off. Brees goes. Thank God. Get the running backs off because I'm going to have to take a wide receiver here. And the last thing I want to do is take freaking Calvin Ridley over Kenneth Walker. Kamara goes as well. So we're going to take a receiver. I'm going to take Jalen Waddle over Igbuka. I know most smart people are going to take Igbuka over Waddle. I am not a smart person. So I'm going to stick with Jalen Waddle. Okay. Yeah, I am freaking pumped for football as well. I'm sorry this live stream was late, but I was having to do stuff for the Flock League. I know we've had a bajillion questions asking when the next Flock League video is coming out. I believe the next Flock video is coming out tomorrow. Can't tell you exactly when, but it will be out tomorrow. Okay. Let's go over and move this to this side. Tony Pollard off 61. We really need another wide receiver on the way back. Again, your regular redraft league, maybe you wouldn't need to be spazzing about wide receivers how we are here, but these underdog drafts, I'm spazzing. Give me some wide receiver points. It's going to get ugly real soon. Matthew Golden goes 62. Rice 64. With these underdog drafts specifically, you are optimizing for the final 3 weeks, weeks 15, 16, 17, for the highest ceiling you can get then. I'm going to go Romadou and say, the Saints offense is just too bad. There's no way I can get excited about the Saints offense. We're a little bit underweight Rome as well. But Mayor says, is the Flock League going to be on schedule again once the season starts like last year? Yes. The Flock League videos, outside of the one posted tomorrow, outside of week 1, will be posted every Tuesday morning and every Friday morning. Those will be the Flock League videos. Okay, Isaiah Pacheco off 71. And it looks like we hit 200 likes on the stream. So if you haven't already, go down there and drop your flockfantasy.com username in the chat, and we'll give away some more free vouchers. Aaron Jones goes 74. And I'm honestly really wanting another wide receiver here. Like, we have the elite tight end, we have the elite quarterback, we have the anchor RB. I would love another receiver. The thing is with these puppy drafts, they're just so hard to win, right? There's so many teams drafted in them, which is why I didn't do a ton of the $5 puppies this year, which is why I kind of like the $10 flock tournaments on Underdog more, just because there were less people in each tourney. If we're looking at wide receiver, it's Josh Downs. If we're looking at running back, it's David Montgomery. I can't take Josh Downs over David Montgomery. So even if I wanted a receiver, we're just simply not going to get one. We're going to have to take Montgomery here as our RB2. Let's see. We got DT Man. Let me see if I can find you on the site real quick and get you set up with some free questions, my friend. DT Man. Gotcha. Looks like you got a free account, so you shouldn't have had any free vouchers before, but we just sent some over your way. Sam Laporta and Warren going back to back. You know why Tyler Warren has jumped this far? You know why we are seeing Tyler Warren now get drafted ahead of TJ Hawkinson? Because people watched Nathan do it in the Flock League draft and they went, you know what? That Nathan guy, he's clearly a shark. We need to do what he's doing. I got something to learn from Nathan. So they went, yeah, let me start taking some Tyler Warren here. That's not too bad of an idea. Michael says, how much weight are we putting on these unofficial depth charts? Let's just say I moved Antonio Gibson up to being a 4th round pick, and I moved Trevion Henderson down to being an 18th round pick because the unofficial depth charts had Antonio Gibson ahead of Trevion. So if you were one of these idiots drafting Trevion Henderson instead of Antonio Gibson this year, I can't imagine being you. I can't imagine how you could wake up with yourself in the morning, look yourself in the mirror, and go, I drafted the running back 3 in New England. We're going to take Pittman. Pittman's like the last wide receiver here, relevance. So yeah, like RJ Harvey being 5th on the depth chart initially. You should have drafted 4 Denver Broncos running backs ahead of RJ Harvey. I don't know what to tell you. The depth charts teams put out there are always extremely accurate. They always tell us exactly how the coaching staff plans on using these running backs and how we should value them in fantasy football. So that's why we titled the live stream, It's All Over. 1, because the draft season, it's all over. I've drafted these teams every single night on the live stream since April, and we're in September now, and we got 2 days left. And 2, because Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is the RB4 in Washington. Trevion Henderson's the RB3 in New England. It's horrible. It is a sad day to be a fantasy football drafter. And oh my gosh, I can't even imagine being this idiot here that took Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt at 95. Did he not see the official team depth chart? God, did he not see it? Is he not on Twitter? Oh my gosh, poor guy, poor fellow. He just wasted his $5. But no, I don't know. I'm going to be looking at Antonio Gibson in this next round. Let me just say that. Okay. Rob says Amarian is number 2 behind One-Eyed Najee. There's no way that's real. Is Najee really ahead of Amarian Hampton on the depth chart? Are you really telling me I need to start drafting Najee Harris in round 3? Bo Nix off the board 102. We'll take Jaden Reed here. Actually, no, I'm going to take Jaden Higgins. Let me pull this up. Because if they did that, that is the funniest thing ever, knowing Najee Harris practiced with this team literally one time. So I'm pulling up the Chargers depth chart right now. This shows you how little this crap matters. Chargers depth chart, starting running back, Najee Harris or Amari Hampton. Dear God. Oh. That shows you how little this crap matters. Najee Harris practiced with the team one time. Once. Do not care about any of this. It's all garbage. It's people just getting excited to have something to talk about. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt's not the RB4 in Washington. Trevion Anderson's not the RB3 in New England. Amari Hampton's the starting running back in Los Angeles. Ashton Shinty's going to be a 3-down workhorse from day one. It does not matter. Caleb Johnson, on the other hand, Caleb Johnson's not going to be good to go week 1. Caleb Johnson's truly not the starter. You saw that with the preseason usage. The preseason usage is what you need to be paying attention to, not what the depth chart said. The depth chart told us that... Here, let's see real quick. Do we have any... we don't need to spaz with quarterbacks, right? I mean, we got Lamar. We're fine. We'll take Loveland here as our second tight end. We'll call it a day at tight end. But the preseason showed you what you needed to see at running back. Again, another good example is R.J. Harvey. They listed R.J. Harvey as the 5th running back on the depth chart. And then what happened in the preseason? R.J. Harvey was out there with the starters. So I would ignore it. Sportus says, by the way, I'm number 3 in my IDP according to ESPN and number 9 on the Flock site. So I am very confident in saying for the vast majority of people here that whatever your ESPN, whatever your Yahoo grade was at the end of your draft, it is not going to be nearly as accurate as what the power rankings are on flockfantasy.com. I can stand by that with 100% certainty and 100% fact. However, I cannot say that about IDP. If you're in an IDP league where you are rostering Micah Parsons, then, to be honest with you, we don't have any of the individual defensive players ranked on flockfantasy.com. So they're not impacting your ranking on the My Teams page whatsoever. So the My Teams page is only going to account for the offensive players, the quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends value on your roster. So I would like to say ignore ESPN, blah, blah, blah. Use the flockfantasy.com My Teams page. But if it's IDP, ESPN's draft grade may be more accurate than ours because we're not taking into account the IDP at all. Okay. Now, let's move this over. 808 says, Mason, the Chargers listed the Big Q as the starting wide receiver ahead of Keenan Allen and Trey Harris. Well, that's just called accuracy. Finally, a team that has some self-respect. We're going to take Austin Eckler here. Didn't you hear he's the starting running back for Washington? Okay. Diego says, Yo, Mason, I submitted a team review yesterday morning. Would I receive the review results before Thursday? Yes. So we are going to be live streaming tomorrow, probably for another 5 hours doing those team reviews. And I saw somebody in the chat asking how to do a team review on flockfantasy.com. We turned off the team reviews where you cannot submit them because we had too many people waiting for us. And I am going to, I don't want to do this, but realistically, just with the traffic that we've had this year, the expectation that I want to hold myself to is that if y'all submit a team review, if you submit a start sit question, if you submit a trade question on flockfantasy.com, I answer it within 24 hours. And I'm able to do that with the start sit, the trade, and the super messages very easily. The team reviews, however, take me much longer to answer than those other questions. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to be selective of when we have those available to submit on the site and available for purchase. So we'll see what happens. Maybe people stop buying them and things cool down and I can just have them on at all times. But it's looking like here, one, we're going to take CJ Stroud, pair him up with Jaden Higgins. Last quarterback stack that makes a lot of sense for us. But it looks like what I'm probably going to have is like team reviews closed for a day, then open them maybe for like 12 hours. And then if we get like 20 or 30 reviews, then I close them again where people can't buy them until I get through all the reviews. So I will keep you posted when team reviews can be bought again. Or if you're like an annual mother flocker, so you have a free team review with your membership, when you can submit that again. But for now, they are closed, and I'll probably open them up tomorrow night because, again, I'll commit to y'all. We'll do a 5-hour stream tomorrow night. Lewis says, what if there's 300 requests when you turn them back on, only turning them on for 1 hour? Well, I get notified every time a request comes in. So, one, there's no way that happens. And two, if I turn them on and then in like 30 minutes, I got 30 people bought 30 team reviews, I would just turn them off again. Like, again, I'm going to have to be a little selective about it. And we'll just see. Like, maybe I turn them on again and like everybody who wanted one already got one like a couple days ago and they sent them in. And then the demand for them is not nearly as much as it was. We're going to take Judkins. This is a tournament where you are really optimizing for the ceiling in weeks 15 through 17. If I was a betting man, I'd say that Judkins is probably with the team at that point, probably playing football games. So we'll see. But I mean, there's a chance that I turn them back on and then it's like not nearly as many people are buying them as there were previously. And then I can just keep up with them every single day. And we don't have to turn them off again. But for now, they're turned off. And I'm assuming that it's going to be like a thing where I just have to monitor it, turn them off, turn them on, turn them off, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So after we go Judkins, you have Michael Penix, Bryce Young, both gone. I mean, for us, it's great to see the quarterbacks go, right? We're done taking quarterbacks when we have Stroud and Lamar. Okay, Thornton goes 156. Brandon says, do I need a Mac to sync my ESPN League? No, you do not need a Mac to sync your ESPN League. You can do it on Google Chrome. I would recommend doing it on Google Chrome. Romeo Dobbs goes 159. Tua goes 161. Good for us. Who do we want here? We're taking just a running back or receiver. That's it. I think we can go Isaac Tesla if we want. Let's think about this for a second. Yeah, we're going to take Tesla. Isaac Tesla's like a great example of a player that I think can have a difference in your have a difference in like an underdog best ball draft, but you would never draft in your regular redraft league. Alan says no trades in the Flock League recently. All I got to say is there may or may not be a Flock League video dropping tomorrow. The editor may or may not have himself a busy night tonight. But Twerk for Taco Bell says Mason 100% swindled Nathan out of Tyler Warren. Last thing I would ever do is try to trade for Tyler Warren from Nathan. Nathan's a Colts fan. And he took Tyler Warren ahead of TJ Hawkinson. Now I'd rather have Hawkinson. Okay, so we have a run on receivers here with like a bunch of these bum best ball wide receivers at the end of the 14th. And we're just running back and wide receiver again. Zach Ertz goes 172. No way in hell I'm taking Jalen Coker here. Don't really like Torrey Horton either. Who do we want? We're going to go Will Shipley. I drafted a team with Peter Overzet, and he brought up something that I thought was really smart for these underdog tournaments that like makes so much sense that like, I can't believe I like wasn't doing it. Like I told him, I was like, that's a genius thing. But at the same time, I mean, it's like, I don't want to say obvious, but it's like, how did I never think of this? But thank God he told me. Like, it makes a lot of sense, right? You're in an underdog basketball tournament, $5 buy-in, $100,000 first place prize. Kind of everything needs to go right for you. You draft A.J. Brown here in the second round. What's an outcome that A.J. Brown smashes? What's an outcome that A.J. Brown turns into a true league-winning wide receiver? And he can be a round 2 pick that helps you turn what? The $5 into 100K, Saquon Barkley gets injured. So if that happens, you can kind of like double down with the Will Shipley pick here in the final few rounds. I think it does make a lot of sense. But it looks like we had 3 likes on the live stream. So go down there and drop your flockfantasy.com username in the chat, and we'll give away some more free vouchers. Mason Taylor goes 181. And we are going to just take a couple more receivers in this draft. And dear God, we've been... it's late. And I got to upload the weekly rankings on the site after this. Not taking Jalen Coker. Make fun of me all you want. I don't care. The Big Q, welcome home. Worst case scenario, he can be our mascot for this team. The heart and soul. The glue that holds the locker room together. Okay, let's pick. We got a J10 Zoni. Let's get you set up with some free vouchers. Hopefully I didn't. I'm sure I butchered that, but J10 Zoni. All right, I cannot find you on the site, my friend. I don't know if you use code FLOCK. I can only find you on my user's page if you use code FLOCK. Let's look up JJ Jensen Fitz. Found you. Looks like I've already sent in some questions, so you know how to use it. But we'll get you set up with some free vouchers. They're in your account now. Jackson Dart goes 194. Elijah Arroyo off 193. Good for us. Nick says, how do I use code FLOCK on the site? When you set up an account on flockfantasy.com, it asks you for a promo code. If you ever go through like any of the links that I post in the chat or description, comment section, live chat, whatever it is, it will automatically do it for you. People hate Pat Bryant now. I think it may take Pat Bryant. And we need to take a bunch of receivers. Yeah, our wide receiver room's gross. We're going to take Pat Bryant. But it will automatically do it for you when you set up your account if you went through one of the links on the YouTube channel. But If you never set up, you can never switch a promo code on flockfantasy.com. But if you never put one in, you can go to your account page and there's an empty spot there for you where you can put in code flock and then you'll show up on my users page. Okay, Troy Franklin off the board. Theo Johnson goes 205. Jalen Wright off. I kind of like the idea of taking a running back here. And honestly, I actually really do like taking Taj Brooks. We're going to take Brooks here as the second running back in Cincy. And let's go ahead and let's get another draft going. It's late, though. We are in another puppy. And, I mean, we got time to kill, so I can go through and I can explain, like, this for the one person who doesn't know. But like again, so puppy tournament, $5 buy-in, $1 million prize pool, 100K to first. How it is weeks 1 through 14, you got to be a top 2 scoring team in your 12-team draft to advance to the fantasy football playoff tournament. Week 15, you got to beat 9 other people. If you do, you'll advance to week 16, where you got to beat 9 other people again. And if you do, you'll advance to week 17, where there are about 300 people in the final. And if you beat them, you'll turn $5 into $100,000. If you get second place, $5 into $75,000. Third place, $5 into $50,000. Fourth place, $5 into $25,000, all the way down the line. Okay. And we are going to be at 12. So honestly, I like 12 more than pick 7. Because here at the 1-2 turn, I think like the players you get at 12 and 13 aren't that different than the players you get at like pick 7 and 8. Jonathan says, so top 2 scoring teams, season-long advance. Didn't know that? Yeah, so it's going to depend on the tournament. If you're in the flock tournaments on Underdog, it's only going to be one out of 12, but if it's a puppy or a bets ball, most Underdog tournaments is 2 out of 12. Super small field contest will be more than 2 out of 12, but the majority of Underdog tournaments like Best Ball Mania, the Sprint, and the puppy, it's 2 out of 12. Nico Collins goes at 8. Yeah, we are looking at Kyle Pitts here. We'll see if he makes it. We'll see if this team at 11 takes him from us. Brian Thomas goes at 11. We're going to take Genties on the thumbnail, and I'll still go Puka over London. And balanced start here, similar to the last draft. Gives us some flexibility through the rest of it. Brady says, is Neighbors going over 71.5 yards this week? So matchup against Washington, you have an implied team total of, I think, putting the Giants as the 4th lowest scoring offense in the league. Let's pull up where Neighbors was at last year from a weekly perspective. So you're saying, will he have 72 receiving yards? Last year, he played, a total of 15 games. And in those 15 games, he had 4 4, 5, 6 games with over 72 receiving yards. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games where he did not hit 72. If you think the quarterback's play is better with Russ, maybe you think he gets there, I'd call it a coin flip. Let me see what the underdog pick'em is. The underdog pick'em for Neighbors is 71.5. Yeah, so I'm assuming maybe you're looking at underdog. But yeah, Neighbors, they have it 71.5. They have them higher, lower, 14.35 fantasy points. Raphael says, how many teams did you draft in total this year, Mason? Let me pull this up. Completed 476 plus 1. I drafted like 800 teams this year. If I combine all the contests together, which is significantly more than I drafted last year. But I drafted a ton of slow drafts this year that I did not in the past. It is my most ever for sure. The team at 3 going with Bowers and a McBride together. Team at 3 is toast. RIP. Pour one out for him. I will say, and y'all maybe have noticed this. Maybe I don't know if it comes through on the camera or not. But genuinely, this is the most excited I have been for a fantasy football season I can't remember ever being this excited. I don't know if it's because of the Flock League. I don't know if it's because I used to make dynasty videos every day during the off season, and this year I let myself have some time off early in the year. The lady was working on a movie, so we went and stayed in California for a little bit so she could work on that. And while I was there, I didn't really record many videos. I just worked on the website with the developers. So I'm nice and rested for these live streams and good to go. We're going to take Marv and maybe Worthy. Let me think. Yeah, we'll take Worthy. But this is the most excited I've been, for sure. So Wilson goes 38, Adams goes 39. You could go Adams, pair him up with Puka. Honestly, that maybe would have been the play, right? We go Puka, Adams, and we make the consolidated bet that Stafford's back's okay. People blew it out of proportion. But we'll see. The moratorium says, Mason, my phone got autocorrected. Okay, well, good to know. Yeah, the characters have to be the exact same when I look them up on flockfantasy.com to give out those vouchers. Okay. DK Metcalf goes 46. That team at 3 is going to be really funny to see how it turns out. Like, I think you can get away in an underdog best ball draft to go like pseudo bully tight end, to take like Bowers and Laporta, McBride and Laporta, like if you're going to get them in round 7 or whatever. But to go tight end rounds 2 and 3, it's just so much invested into the position. Like, even if they both smash, it's going to be difficult. Chuba Hubbard goes 49. Trevion actually fell in this draft. I wonder if it's from people really being concerned about the depth chart stuff. Egbuka goes 51. Reese goes 53. I love that team at the 6 hole with the Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and Devonta Smith double stack. Obviously, they're going to need to go through and they're going to do whatever they can to fill out RB. So Ricky Pearsall off the board at 58. Flowers goes 59. Let's move this. I'm going to take Rice, optimizing for points in weeks 15 through 17. We'll take RJ Harvey for the same reason. And we'll send up a prayer that this team can survive the beginning of the year. Rafael says, Mason, would you never watch a football game again or never get to draft the best ball team again? I would never draft the best ball team again. Now, if you ask me, Mason, would you never play fantasy football again, or would you never watch a football game again? Let me ask that question to everybody here in the chat. Because, like, best ball, I can, if you tell me, like, Mason, you can still watch football, but you just play redraft and dynasty, I'll live. It definitely will be a sadder life. It won't be as exciting, but I'll live. But if you told me, Mason, you're not allowed to play fantasy football of any kind, where it's literally like, I've obviously done it since I was like a kid, since like 2008. But it's been like my number one hobby and my number one thing that like I've spent my time thinking about and having fun with since 2014. And then since like the end of 2018, the beginning of 2019, I was also making videos every single day, which is, at that point, it was still only like a hobby, right? But then it kind of turned into a job late 2020. So like fantasy football is truly my like entire life. And it's been my entire life it's been my entire life now for about 5-6 years, maybe 6-7 years. It's been like the number one thing that I enjoy in my life for 11, 12. So if you told me I wasn't allowed to like play fantasy football anymore, it would be devastating. But let me know in the chat, what would you prefer? You have to either never play fantasy football again, and I know y'all probably aren't like as fantasy pilled as I am. Again, I've told this story before 1,000 times, but I did not start watching NFL games until like I first at like 9 years old or 10 years old, whenever it was, started playing fantasy football. I started watching NFL games because I joined a fantasy football league. Like, again, I was fantasy from the very beginning. Like, NFL is because of fantasy for me. But you have to give up one for the rest of your life. Are you going to give up fantasy football, or are you going to give up NFL? Fantasy football or watching the NFL? Spam the chat. What are you giving up? Okay, let's move this around, figure out what we're going to do at 84 and 85. Warren's officially flipped Hawkinson in ADP. Myers goes. I'm going to take Jennings. Jennings looks to be good to go week 1. I wanted to take Mahomes for the Rice-worthy double stack. I think we're going to take Hawk. Okay, let's see what people in the chat say. Okay, Dylan says fantasy, rooting for a team you like is the best. See, I don't have a team that I like. Chris says NFL, fantasy, NFL, fantasy, NFL. Vinny says NFL sucks without fantasy football. Brady says fantasy football because you can just gamble. Fantasy, 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 NFL, fantasy, fantasy, fantasy. What the hell is this? Dirk says, I agree. I'd cheat on my wife for fantasy football. What scenario? Serious question. You walk me through the scenario that your options are give up fantasy football or cheat on your wife. Is this like the commissioner of your fantasy football league is some like sexy lady and goes like, hey, we're going to ban you from the league. We're going to ban you from all of fantasy football. I'm going to tell all the leagues that you're not allowed to be in it if you don't cheat on your wife. Brother, is that what's going on here? That's a wild setup. It feels like you've thought about this one before. But, oh, dear God. Dirk's wife, hit me up, all right? I got something to show you. All right. Joe says Sydney Sweeney for fantasy football. Okay. Let's be real here. I just gave a long speech about how fantasy football is my entire life. It's been my entire life for a long time, blah, blah, blah. Sydney Sweeney tells me, Mason, we can get married. You know what? I'm going to stop leading you on here. I just can't deal with the fantasy football stuff. You got to cut it out. That would be the one thing that would get me to strongly consider. Strongly consider giving it up. But that's like the only thing. And if that scenario ever happens, I don't know how it would, but if it does, I hope you all understand. And I hope you won't be upset with me. Okay. Now, Loveland goes 103. Tucker Kraftoff 104. Quarterbacks that will be in play. Obviously, Kyler stacks with Harrison. Purdy would have stacked with Jennings. Thank God we get Kyler. If we didn't get Kyler, I was going to have no idea what to do. So Kyler's the easy pick. And then afterwards, no running backs are interesting here. I don't want to take an unstacked Dak. I'm going to take an unstacked Fields and go, F it. I know he's horrible at real life football, but maybe he runs the ball. Okay. But it looks like we hit 400 likes on the stream. So if you haven't already, drop your flockfantasy.com username in the chat, and we'll get you set up with some vouchers. Express Sports says, I've only been here for a few streams, but you mentioned Sydney Sweeney in all of them. That doesn't sound like me, my friend. That does not sound like me. I think you have me confused for another guy. Sydney Sweeney, I would never bring her up. I would never see a message in the chat and just absolutely have to address it and absolutely have to talk about it. That wouldn't be me. That would be someone else. But let's find someone we got. Big Time Banana Man. See if I can find you on the site, my friend. And if I can, we'll get you set up with some free vouchers. Big Time Banana Man. All right. Gotcha. And just sent some free vouchers for some free questions over your way. Really appreciate you hanging out with us in this stream, my guy. Okay. I did not see that. That's hilarious. Daniel says, when are we getting the new Flock League vid? May or may not be dropping tomorrow. Eric says, you're going to do a live stream where you draft a good team. Eric, you better watch it. You better watch it. Where I'm going to call up the NFL and I'm going to call up the fantasy platforms and say, Eric's not allowed to watch football games or play fantasy football anymore with this attitude. So you're on your last strike, Eric. Caesar says, when are the mother flockers going to get some hats? I want to sport it. I will show y'all some text. I'm so annoyed with this that I'm fine showing y'all the text, even if maybe I shouldn't. But, so. Who knows if this is true, but the hat distributor has been leading me on. I've been led on before with these freaking, every time I ever order merch, it's always been the worst experience, and they always try to scam me. Every single time. Every single time. I'm not saying this guy is trying to scam me, but something always happens with it. So here's the text I got today. Let's read this together with the merch. I'm going to get hats sent y'all's way soon. But essentially him going like, we've been back and forth. Where's the box? UPS lost it. Blah, blah, blah. UPS lost it. He told me today that they found it. Actually, he was going to send them out today, but they finally found it. So we'll see if it's true. We'll see if it's a lie. And if that box arrives in Austin, Texas this week, we'll be getting some hats shipped out shortly. We have more people on the site than I ever thought we would, so we're going to have to order additional hats. But we're going to get some sent to y'all regardless. We'll take Ramondre Stevenson here. We have RG Harvey. We need some points to cover at the beginning of the year. And then beyond that, Love, no stack. Lawrence, no stack. Stroud, no stack. Stacking options later on, we don't really have any anyway. So honestly, F it. We can just kind of go Jordan Love and hope we get like Dontavian Wicks or some bum later. But let's move this out. And let's see. Lou says, should offer the merch company some team reviews. Hey, if you actually get the merch sent to me, if it finally arrives at my house, which they sent the first half of it, the first box got here. The second box we're waiting on. I will review your fantasy football team if you drafted one. Don't you worry. Daniel says, did Nathan trade JJ? Let's just say Zach's team got a little bit better. Keep it at that. Zach's team's looking pretty spicy right now. Okay. I saw somebody ask, is best ball weekly matchups or just points? It's just points. No weekly matchups. You don't play anybody in best ball. Outside of like when you actually get to the fantasy football playoff tournament at the end. But the regular season is who advances to the tournament. It's just points. Okay, Michael Penix goes 141. Kevin says, how do you feel about T as your wide receiver one after trading Drake away? Good question. The correct phrasing of that question is, how do you feel about having 4 top 27 ranked players in fantasy football? How do you feel about having Barkley, round 1 pick, Jacobs, round 2 pick, Josh Allen, round 2 pick, T. Higgins early round 3, late round 2 pick. All on the same team. And I feel incredible about that, my friend. I feel incredible. Okay, Swizzworld still has the OG Flock hat. Love to hear it, my friend. Okay, Nick Chubb goes 145. Okay, so I got a long night ahead of me because I need to go through and I need to update the weekly rankings on the site so the devs can get those weekly rankings out. And it will be very nice when I just get this done. Dallas Goddard goes 146. Our team's cheeks, not gonna lie. Not the good cheeks either. The bad cheeks. Fantasyland says mine are up, so you can copy them if you want to be accurate. Ooh, I'll try my best, my friend. If yours are up, has Joe put them on the front end yet? Let me see. No, he has not. Joe. If you're watching this, my friend. Zach's got his rankings up. What are we waiting for? Okay. Ray Davis goes 154. Oh, please, for the love of God. If we get Romeo Dobbs, this team's good. We do not get Romeo Dobbs. We do not get the stack with Jordan Love. This team is not good. We'll take Najee. And we'll take Demario Douglas. If I would have gotten Romeo Dobbs, paired him up with Jordan Love, I could have talked myself into this squad. I really could have. Landon says, how do you think the fan will do in the Flock League? Let me pull up what I have for the My Teams page real quick. And I'll show you all my values of how I do it. So here's the expert average of the power rankings in the league. And if you sort it by my rankings on the site, I jumped to 1. I have the fan as the 4th team. This is the fan here. So I have the fan above average. And yeah, we got the fan out here right now. Sammy Stacks, my friend, you better. You got a big week ahead. You better get to hit the hay. Eric says, if Sydney ever live streams, I'll be dropping your @ in there until she follows you in Flock Fantasy. Here is, you know how there are like bounties that we can put out? Like you'll know like Bounty Gate from the Saints way back when. If anybody in this live stream has the pull, has the connections to get me a date with Sydney Sweeney, here's what I'm going to do for you. I will give you an annual Mother Flocker membership on flockfantasy.com for life. And that will be transferable to your kids, your kids' kids, your kids' kids' kids. And you'll be getting 100 start set vouchers, 100 trade question vouchers, and 10 team reviews. Not 100 team reviews, and let's not get crazy here, but at least 10. So the bounty's out there. Do what y'all got to do. YouTube. And work your magic. Bryce Young off the board, 167. Tua goes 168. Alan says, will your future son take over Flock in 60 years? We have my current son in the chat right now, Sammy Stacks. Legitimate son? No. But Bastard son, yes. And I'm thinking after it's all said and done, after I drift away into the sweet, sweet night, Sammy Stacks will be taking over flockfantasy.com. Kate Otten goes 171. Let's move this over. Sammy says, I get your channel once the hairline goes, thinking 2 to 3 years. My friend, that was 2 to 3 years ago. And we should already have the lawyers writing it up to transfer it over to you. We're going to want one more running back, one more receiver, and 2 more tight ends. 808 says, what does your girl think of the Sydney Sweeney crush? She hates it. Legitimately hates it. I'm not going to lie. She doesn't know how much I talk about it in the live stream, but I talk about it with her, and she does not like the jokes. We're going to take Jonnu Smith and we'll go Chris Rodriguez. Yeah, she is not, let's just say she is not a fan. But I get some jokes I like, and I can't stop. I can't stop myself from saying them. It doesn't matter. But I think normally we do 2. I mean, we do 3 drafts on the stream. However, it's almost midnight here. Streamed for a total like 7 hours yesterday. Streamed for like a total of 5 hours today. Made the videos, and now I got to do all the rankings on the website. It's more important that I do the rankings on the website realistically than I do a 3rd draft. So it's probably going to be our last one. Again, I want to remind y'all, I will be drafting tomorrow. I'll be drafting on Thursday. You do not have much longer at all to get into an underdog draft if you want to. They're best ball, so there's no time commitment at all during the year. Not going to replace your main league. Just some extra fun getting in a draft on the side. And if you use code FLOCK, here's the setup. You will get $50 added into your account after you play your first 5. Then on top of that, if you got the season pass on flockfantasy.com or you're an annual mother flocker, fill out the Google form. You'll get an extra $10 added in your account. So you deposit 10 and you effectively have 70. And then you can use that 70 on the crazy pick'ems that they have this week for week 1. Saquon Barkley, gimme pick. 50% profit boost on Thursday. 50% profit boost on Friday. 100% profit boost token that drops on Saturday for the Sunday slates. And then you have additional promos Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It is by far and away the best deal that they've ever had. And at the same time, it is the best, most exciting week to get on since we have the Flock boosted pick'em packs as well, so we can tail some stuff together. But the links in the description, links in the live chat, links in the comment section. Draft with us here, Underdog Fantasy. And again, you can either do those drafts, do those pick'ems, whatever you prefer. And it's the number one way to support this live stream for sure. But let's take our last wide receiver. Let's take our last tight ends. I wonder who we want at wide receiver. This is going to be a tough call. I have no idea. No idea. Do we want the big Q? Do we want Michael Wilson? Both wide receivers we have a lot of. The big Q goes, we'll take Michael Wilson. We'll stack him up with Kyler Murray. And then here at tight end, we can take Theo. But I think that's all I got for you. I'll be updating the rankings tonight. You'll see them on the site very soon. But appreciate you. Hopefully I can take these contacts out because they're killing my eyes. And I'll see you out in the live stream.